Jonathan Bailey stands today as one of the most magnetic rising stars in film and television, and people around the world see him as confident, charming, and endlessly talented. But what the world rarely sees is the weight he carried long before fame found him, and the truth he hid behind that bright smile for years. This is the story of the battles he faced in silence, the insecurities that shaped him, and the inner strength it took to finally become the Jonathan Bailey the world knows today. It begins long before the red carpets, long before the awards, and long before millions of fans discovered him on their screens. Because Jonathan was not born into a world that promised him success. He grew up knowing that nothing would be handed to him and that every opportunity would need to be fought for. This challenge shaped him so completely that even now, with fame and praise surrounding him, he still carries pieces of that old fear deep inside him. From the beginning, Jonathan was drawn to acting not because it made him famous, but because it made him feel alive. On stage or during a performance, he felt free, the only place where his fears and doubts could not reach him. But once the performance ended, reality always returned, and reality was not always kind. Jonathan struggled deeply with something most people never knew he faced. He was terrified of being judged, terrified of failing, terrified that no matter how good he became, people would not accept him for who he truly was. When he was young, he entered the industry at a time when being open about your true identity was not always welcomed. It was harsh, it was competitive, and it was unforgiving. Jonathan felt this pressure early on, and he feared that if he showed his honest self, he would lose the very career he worked so hard to build. This forced him into years of silence, years of hiding, years of choosing safety instead of peace. And that silence shaped him in ways only he understood. He learned how to be strong in front of others, but still cracked inside when he was alone. As he grew older, the expectations grew too. Every audition, every rehearsal, every interview felt like a test he could not afford to fail. So he learned to carry two versions of himself: the Jonathan the world saw, confident, bold, fearless, and the Jonathan no one saw, tired, unsure, scared of the future, and constantly wondering if he would ever feel free enough to just live his truth without fear. Everything changed when he stepped into the role that turned him into a household name. His performance in Bridgerton made him the face of a global phenomenon. Millions loved his character, they admired his talent, and they saw him as flawless, strong, and almost untouchable. But what they did not see was that behind the scenes, he was fighting an even bigger battle: the fear of not being enough for the world that suddenly expected everything from him. With fame came pressure, with pressure came anxiety, and with anxiety came nights he could not sleep thinking about whether the world liked him for his work or for a version of himself that was not even real. He carried this question for so long that it became part of his private life, a constant whisper reminding him of every doubt he tried to bury. But Jonathan is not a man who breaks without learning how to rebuild, and that is what makes his story powerful. Instead of letting the pressure crush him, he faced it, piece by piece, moment by moment, until one day he made the decision he feared for years. He chose honesty, he chose vulnerability, he chose himself. He slowly began opening up about the truth he hid for so long, not in a dramatic announcement, but in small, courageous steps that changed him forever. He spoke about his identity. He spoke about the struggles he faced as a young actor. He spoke about the hiding, the silence, and the fear. And when he finally shared this truth, something unbelievable happened. The world embraced him even more. Fans respected him even more. His honesty made him stronger, not weaker, and people admired his courage instead of questioning it. But the journey did not end there, because even after opening up, Jonathan had to rebuild his confidence from the inside. He had to learn that his worth was not tied to anyone else's approval. He had to understand that he could be successful and still be himself, that he could be vulnerable and still be powerful, and that he could let people see the real him without losing love, respect, or opportunities. This transformation was slow but beautiful. He began taking roles that challenged him not just as an actor, but as a person. He chose characters that carried emotional depth, characters that allowed him to pour parts of his own story into the performance. That is why his acting feels so real, because it comes from survival, from pain, from understanding what it means to hide and what it means to finally step into the light. People see Jonathan today and think his life is perfect, but what they don't see is the years of rejection that shaped him before his success. He faced countless closed doors, missed opportunities, and roles he lost even after giving his best. Each loss made him feel smaller, but he kept going. He pushed forward even when he felt broken, even when he doubted everything he had. He refused to give up. And that resilience is the foundation of everything he has today. Jonathan also struggled with loneliness, something he never talked about publicly for a long time. While the world assumed he was surrounded by friends, admirers, and support, the truth was that success often isolated him. The more famous he became, the more alone he sometimes felt. He had to protect his privacy, he had to guard his emotions, and he had to carry personal battles quietly because not everyone around him could understand the weight he held inside. This loneliness changed him. It made him observant, it made him sensitive, and it made him value genuine connections over superficial praise. And deep down, he believed that one day people would see not just the actor he is, but the person he has always been. Someone who feels deeply, someone who fights silently, and someone who rises no matter how many times life tries to break him. And then something shifted. As he found more confidence in who he truly was, the world responded with love instead of judgment. The industry recognized him, his fan base grew stronger, and he realized something he never believed before. He didn't have to hide to succeed. He could be open, he could be honest, he could be real, and still climb higher than ever before. This acceptance gave him strength, but it also gave him purpose. He wanted to show the world, especially young people who feel what he once felt, that you can rise from fear, that you can break free from expectations, and that your truth will never limit your success. It will fuel it. This mission became part of who he is, part of why he speaks up, part of why he uses his platform to inspire courage in others. Johnson also faced a struggle many fans don't know: the intense pressure of perfection. As his fame grew, people started seeing him as flawless, as someone who never made mistakes. But Jonathan knew the truth. He was still human, still vulnerable, still learning, and still trying to balance his personal life with his public one. Behind closed doors, he experienced emotional exhaustion from trying to meet every expectation. He feared disappointing people, he feared losing fans, he feared failing under the spotlight. But now, instead of letting this fear break him, he embraces it. He understands that perfection is not real, that growth is never simple, and that strength is built through struggle, not avoidance. His journey is not about becoming fearless, but about moving forward even when fear tries to stop him. Today, Jonathan Bailey stands as a symbol of courage, not because he never struggled, but because he refused to stay silent in those struggles. He is a reminder that even the brightest stars carry shadows, that even the strongest hearts have cracks, and that every person, no matter how successful they seem, is fighting a battle most people never see. His life teaches us that hiding does not protect you, it only exhausts you, that fear does not disappear until you face it, and that honesty, even when it scares you, is the most powerful form of freedom you can give yourself. Jonathan Bailey is not just an actor, he is a survivor, he is a fighter. He is a voice for those who still feel afraid to be themselves, and he is living proof that the truth you hide today can become the strength that lifts you tomorrow. His journey is far from over, and as he steps into new roles, new challenges, and new chapters, he carries with him the lessons of every battle he ever fought. So when you see him smiling on a red carpet or delivering a powerful scene on screen, remember this: behind that success is a man who fought through fear, through doubt, through loneliness, and through silence, and came out stronger than anyone expected. His story is not just inspiring, it's a reminder that the world celebrates the victory, but never forgets the courage it took to reach it. This is Jonathan Bailey's truth. The truth he hid, the truth he earned, and the truth that makes him the extraordinary person he is today.